The automotive industry is changing faster than ever. Gasoline engines are being phased out, electric cars are taking over, and automakers are scrambling to keep up. But what if everything we thought we knew about the future of cars was about to be turned upside down? What if a single innovation could disrupt the entire industry, leaving both traditional gas engines and EVs in the dust? General Motors CEO Mary Barra is wrapping up a major speech where she's breaking some news. According to GM's CEO, what they've just developed will do exactly that. What is this new technology all about? Let's find out. General Motors is about to unveil an engine so revolutionary that it could disrupt the entire automotive industry as we know it, at least according to their CEO. This innovation promises to redefine our understanding of cars, engines, and the future of transportation. But before we get to that, let's take a step back and understand how GM got here, because this isn't the first time they've shaken up the industry. Founded in 1908 by William C. Durant, General Motors quickly became a dominant force in the automotive world. William had a vision of consolidating multiple car manufacturers under one corporate umbrella, creating an empire that would define American car culture. Early on, GM acquired key brands like Buick, Cadillac, Oldsmobile, and Pontiac, establishing itself as a powerhouse in the industry. Unlike Ford, which focused on mass-producing a single affordable car, GM adopted a different strategy. Under the leadership of Alfred P. Sloan in the 1920s, Alfred introduced the idea of a car for every purse and purpose, offering vehicles at different price points and with distinct branding. This approach allowed GM to appeal to a wide range of consumers, ultimately overtaking Ford as the top car manufacturer in the United States. Innovation was at the core of GM's success. In 1912, Cadillac introduced the electric self-starter, eliminating the need for a hand crank and making cars more accessible. Then, in 1939, GM revolutionized driving once again with the hydromatic transmission, the first fully automatic transmission, making driving smoother and easier. The company continued to lead the way through the mid-20th century, pioneering new safety features, refining engine technology, and expanding into international markets. By the 1950s, GM controlled nearly half of the U.S. car market, an achievement no other automaker has matched since. This was also the era of GM's legendary small-block V8, an engine so influential that it remained in production for decades and became the heart of American performance cars. Through the 1960s and 70s, GM was at the forefront of muscle car culture, producing iconic models like the Chevrolet Camaro, Pontiac GTO, and Corvette. These cars weren't just about raw power, they were statements of American engineering prowess. However, by the 1970s, new challenges came to light. The oil crisis and stricter emission regulations forced automakers to rethink their approach to engine efficiency. GM responded by developing smaller, more fuel-efficient engines, while still maintaining performance through innovations like turbocharging and fuel injection. Despite these efforts, growing competition from Japanese automakers in the 1980s and 90s put immense pressure on GM. Companies like Toyota and Honda introduced more reliable, fuel-efficient vehicles, leading to a shift in consumer preferences. GM had to adapt. While it continued producing powerful engines like the LS Series V8, it also explored alternative powertrains. In the 1990s, GM took a bold step into the future with the EV1, one of the first modern electric vehicles. The EV1 was ahead of its time, offering a fully electric driving experience at a time when the world wasn't quite ready for it. Limited range, high production costs, and a lack of charging infrastructure led to the program's cancellation. But the EV1 proved that GM was willing to experiment with cutting-edge technology. Unfortunately, this innovation was short-lived, and GM refocused on gasoline-powered vehicles. Then came Tesla. By the early 2000s, Tesla emerged as the face of electric vehicle innovation, proving that EVs could be fast, stylish, and desirable. Tesla's rise put immense pressure on legacy automakers, forcing GM to reconsider its stance on electrification. In 2010, the company launched the Chevrolet Volt, a plug-in hybrid designed to bridge the gap between traditional gasoline engines and full EVs. Unlike standard hybrids, the Volt's gasoline engine primarily acted as a generator, extending the range of its electric motor. It was an innovative step, but it wasn't enough to compete with Tesla's fully electric lineup. Recognizing the shift in consumer demand, General Motors went all in on EVs with the launch of the Chevrolet Bolt in 2016. Unlike the Volt, the Bolt was fully electric, offering an impressive range at a competitive price. It was their first real attempt to compete with Tesla in the EV market, and while it gained a loyal following, it struggled to capture Tesla's dominance. Meanwhile, Tesla continued to push the boundaries of battery technology, software integration, and performance, leaving traditional automakers scrambling to keep up. GM knew it had to do more than just produce EVs. It needed a game changer. In recent years, GM has aggressively ramped up its electric ambitions, unveiling the Ultium battery platform, a scalable architecture designed to power everything from compact cars to massive trucks. Ultium batteries promise lower costs, longer ranges, and faster charging, forming the backbone of GM's next generation of EV models like the electric Hummer, the Cadillac Lyriq, and the upcoming Chevrolet Silverado EV. Yet despite these advancements, the transition to EVs hasn't been smooth. Charging infrastructure remains a challenge. Battery production is expensive, and consumer adoption is slower than anticipated. This has left General Motors and other automakers in a difficult position. How do they balance the push for electrification while still making vehicles that people can afford and rely on? Let's face it, the auto industry is at a crossroads. The push for EVs is undeniable, but gasoline engines still dominate the market. Government regulations are pushing for an all-electric future, yet challenges like battery costs, charging speed, and range anxiety remain significant hurdles. Tesla continues to lead in EV innovation, but even they face challenges in scaling production and maintaining profitability. Meanwhile, legacy automakers like GM, Ford, and Volkswagen are pouring billions into electric vehicle development, hoping to catch up. But what if there was another way? What if an entirely new engine technology could change the game? One that eliminates the limitations of both gasoline and electric powertrains. GM has a history of industry-defining innovation from the small-block V8 to the hydromatic transmission. Now they claim to have something that could be even bigger, a powertrain so advanced that it could render both traditional combustion engines and current EVs obsolete, a technology that could disrupt everything we know about cars. But while GM has been a pioneer in both traditional and electric engines, they're facing some of the biggest challenges in their history. To understand why, we need to look at how the industry itself is changing, and it's changing fast. The auto industry is undergoing a seismic shift as the internal combustion engine, once the undisputed heart of transportation, faces an uncertain future. Governments worldwide are cracking down on gasoline and diesel-powered vehicles, forcing automakers to accelerate their transition to electric powertrains. The European Union has set a firm deadline to ban new gas-powered car sales by 2035, and several U.S. states, including California and New York, have announced similar regulations. China, the world's largest car market, is also aggressively pushing for EV adoption, offering subsidies and incentives to phase out traditional engines. In response, nearly every major automaker has unveiled electrification strategies, some going as far as committing to a fully electric lineup within the next decade. Volvo has pledged to stop selling gasoline-powered cars by 2030. Mercedes-Benz has declared itself electric only by 2030. Even Ford has promised that all European passenger vehicles will be electric by 2035. Making it out of reach for many consumers, government incentives and tax credits help offset the cost, but they are not a long-term solution. The industry is still waiting for a true breakthrough in battery technology that can bring costs down while increasing efficiency and lifespan. Automakers like Toyota are investing heavily in solid-state batteries, which promise to be lighter, safer, and more energy-dense than current lithium-ion batteries. But as far as the public knows, these technologies are still years away from mass production. GM, on the other hand, has staked much of its future on the Ultium battery platform, a modular system designed to power a wide range of electric vehicles from small crossovers to heavy-duty trucks. The idea behind Ultium is flexibility. It allows GM to scale battery production across multiple models and brands, making EV development more efficient. However, despite the promise of Ultium, GM is officially still struggling to keep up with Tesla's pace. Tesla's batteries are more efficient, its software integration is superior, and its manufacturing costs remain lower. Even with massive investments in EV production, GM and other legacy automakers are finding that transitioning away from internal combustion engines is not as simple as replacing one technology with another. The cost of retooling factories, training workers, and restructuring supply chains is immense. And these companies are still reliant on gasoline-powered vehicles to keep their businesses profitable. In fact, despite all the talk of electrification, gasoline-powered SUVs and trucks remain the most profitable vehicles for most automakers. The result is a car industry in a state of flux. Gasoline engines are being phased out, but EVs are not yet ready to fully take their place. Automakers are caught in a balancing act, trying to push electric innovation while still relying on traditional vehicle sales to stay afloat. Some are hedging their bets by investing in hybrids and plug-in hybrids, while others are pushing for alternative solutions like hydrogen fuel cells. The reality is that the automotive world is far from settled on a single path forward. What was once a predictable industry has now become a chaotic battlefield, where every company is racing to find the next big thing that will secure its future. However, the challenges don't stop there. As companies race to build EVs, they're facing problems they never expected, problems that could change the course of the entire industry. EVs are often hailed as the future of transportation, promising reduced emissions and a sustainable alternative to fossil fuel-powered cars. However, beneath this optimistic portrayal lies a series of challenges that are rarely discussed, but crucial to address for a truly sustainable transition. First and foremost, the production of electric vehicle batteries relies heavily on critical minerals such as lithium, cobalt, and nickel. While these elements are abundant, their extraction poses significant environmental and ethical concerns. Mining operations, particularly for lithium, have been associated with water contamination and high water usage, leading to ecological degradation. Similarly, cobalt mining has raised ethical issues including labor practices and environmental harm. These challenges stress the need for sustainable mining practices and the development of alternative materials to mitigate the environmental footprint of battery production. Beyond extraction, the disposal and recycling of electric vehicle batteries present additional environmental challenges. Improper disposal can lead to soil and water contamination due to the hazardous materials contained in batteries. While recycling initiatives are emerging, the processes are complex and not yet widely implemented, requiring advancements in recycling technologies to handle the expected surge in battery waste. The widespread adoption of electric vehicles also hinges on the availability of robust charging infrastructure. Currently, charging stations are concentrated in urban areas, leaving rural regions underserved. This disparity limits the practicality of electric vehicles for long-distance travel and for residents in less populated areas. Moreover, even with fast-charging technology, recharging an electric vehicle takes longer than refueling a gasoline vehicle, which can be a deterrent for potential buyers.